The Cursed Tape. In 2008, a mailman in Britain named Mark Hiller bought an old VCR player from a junk shop. The seller laughed and said, "Take this tape with it as a gift." Mark thanked him and left. 2 days later, while cleaning the device, he noticed the tape was old with faded writing on it. Excited, he decided to play it. That's when everything started. The video began in complete darkness with the sound of someone breathing. Then a strange scene appeared. Someone walking and filming inside a hotel hallway. The place was dark, with the sound of footsteps echoing. A fast shadow passed in front of the camera. Then another shot. A hand holding a door handle, disappearing before the door opened. The last scene was half static, but showed a face close to the camera. Unnatural, one side tilted, and the other eye staring straight into the lens. Mark got scared and turned off the device. But after he turned it off, he heard breathing behind him. When he looked, nothing. From that day, weird things started happening. Whenever he tried to sleep, he heard someone breathing in the room. The TV would turn on by itself on an empty static channel. Mark tried playing the tape again, but this time the content had changed. It was the same hallway, but written on the wall in red were the words, "Tape number 42. Mark started documenting everything, filming and trying to prove what he saw was real. He even invited friends over to watch the tape, but when they tried, it only showed an error. His friends said he was lying. A week later, Mark disappeared. The police searched his apartment but found nothing except the VCR player still on and the tape inside. No sign of Mark. Smile of death. In 2014, a photography hobbyist named Lux Finn was working on a slightly strange project, taking pictures of people on the street while they were smiling so he could create an exhibition about everyday smiles. The idea was nice until he reached photo number 237, the one that changed everything. Lux was shooting on a quiet street and came across a girl standing at a crossing light. When she saw Lux with a camera, she gave him a small smile. Lux took the picture and walked away like normal, but when he got home and started reviewing the photos, he noticed her smile was a little strange. Not a normal smile. The corners of her mouth were raised higher than usual, and her eyes didn't match the expression. Her mouth was smiling, but her eyes had something scary in them. Lux laughed and told himself maybe the editing software messed up the lighting, but things got weird when he tried to delete the photo. Every time he pressed delete, the photo wouldn't disappear. The file would just reappear in a different folder with the same name, smile237.jpg. During the following days, his computer kept freezing a lot, and every time he turned it on, the background would change automatically to the woman's picture. The smile kept getting a bit wider every day, like someone was editing it daily. He tried formatting the computer completely, installing a new system, even changing the hard drive, but the picture still came back with the same name. The only difference was that the facial features became clearer and the smile came closer. Lux started documenting everything happening to him and posted it on Reddit. He said that on the third night, he heard a soft female laugh in the apartment, like it was coming from the speakers. A week later, he stopped responding. The police entered his apartment after neighbors reported hearing constant laughing at night, but the apartment was empty. The only thing they found was his computer with a new picture, Lux himself, smiling that same smile. People split into groups as usual. Some said it was a marketing stunt for a horror movie. Others said the photo was cursed and anyone who sees it disappears. Some even claimed they heard a soft laugh after seeing the picture for the first time. And to this day, no one has explained how a digital photo could come back on its own. The Forbidden Number. In 2016, a British guy from Manchester named Ethan was working at a small phone repair shop. Most of his job was fixing old devices and helping people recover old photos or numbers. One day, a girl walked in looking a bit strange, messy hair and a tired face like she hadn't slept for days. She handed Ethan an old broken Nokia phone and told him quietly, "I want you to pull the numbers from this phone and transfer them to a new one, but don't answer any number that starts with 666. Ethan laughed and said, "Don't worry, I don't think hell has a phone signal." The girl smiled slightly and said nothing. She paid and left without even looking back. Later that night, Ethan was alone in the shop doing repairs. He opened the old phone, and weirdly, it worked fine. The first number he saw in recent calls was 666 billion. He laughed to himself and said he had seen pranks like this before, but exactly 1 minute later, the phone rang. The same number. Ethan froze, but without thinking, he answered. The sound on the other side was heavy breathing, then a whisper. "Why did you answer?" Ethan quickly hung up, but before he could process what happened, every device in the shop started ringing with the same number, even the ones without SIM cards, even the ones that had been off for days, all of them ringing at the same time, with the same tone, same number. The ringing lasted for a minute, then everything suddenly went quiet. Ethan tried deleting the number, but it wouldn't delete. Seconds later, his personal phone got a strange notification, an incoming call from the same number. When he answered, he heard, "I told you not to answer." Ethan got scared and started recording everything and posted the video on Reddit. The video spread fast, but 2 days later, the video disappeared, and the account that uploaded it was deleted. People who saw the post before it was deleted said Ethan's last comment was, "Tonight, I'll call the number myself." No one saw him after that. The police went to the shop after his family reported that he wasn't answering their calls. When they checked the place, they found the old phone on the table. The screen was on, and there was an active call with the number 666. Call duration, 3 hours and 7 minutes. The screaming room. In 2019, a young man named Kevin moved into a new apartment in Chicago. The place was spacious, and the rent was way cheaper than normal, so cheap that he joked, "It must be haunted or something." He laughed, not knowing how close he was to the truth. The first week, everything was normal, but on the 7th night, he heard a voice coming from the second room, a man speaking softly, like whispering. Kevin froze because that room was completely empty. He gathered some courage, opened the door. Nothing. He tried to ignore it and told himself maybe the sound was coming from the apartment below. But after a few days, he heard the voice almost every night at the exact same time, 3:13 a.m. So he put a microphone in the middle of the room and left it recording all night. The next day, he listened. Everything was normal until 3:13 a.m. He raised the volume. He heard whispering, "Why did you take my apartment?" He stopped the recording and rushed to the room, thinking maybe a neighbor was messing with him. But inside, he noticed something weird. The air was colder than the rest of the apartment, even though there was no AC or windows. Stranger still, in one corner of the wall, there was a small crack, completely dark inside. He set up a small camera facing the crack. The next day, while watching the footage, he saw something that looked like it came straight out of a horror movie. At 3:13 a.m., something inside the crack started to move. Something crawling slowly, shaped like a person, but it never came out fully. Then it disappeared after a minute. Every tenant after Kevin left the apartment within months, without explaining why. One neighbor said that years ago, the original tenant was a lonely man who died in that same room under mysterious circumstances. And they say the wall with the crack is where workers found human remains during renovations. No one knows what really happened. The only thing certain is that at 3:13 a.m., the second room is never empty. The living mirror. In 2018, a Danish college girl from Copenhagen named Emma was living alone in a small apartment in an old neighborhood where all the buildings were over 200 years old. The apartment was normal, except for one very strange thing: a huge mirror fixed into the wall. The guy at the rental office told her the mirror had been built in over 100 years ago and couldn't be removed without breaking the wall. She didn't care at first. Actually, she liked how she looked in that mirror. But after a few weeks, she started noticing something off. Every time she passed in front of it, her reflection would move just a bit late. Like if she raised her hand, the mirror raised the hand a moment after. At first she thought she was tired or imagining things, but with time, the delay got clearer. One day, while cleaning, she saw something that made her blood freeze. In the mirror, she saw the shadow of a man standing behind her. She quickly turned around. No one was there. She looked back at the mirror. The man was still there. Tall, thin, face blurred like it was erased. She ran out of the room and called her friend, crying. Her friend tried to calm her down and told her she was probably imagining things and that she should install a camera in the room to be sure. So Emma set up a camera facing the mirror. On the third day, while reviewing the footage, she saw something terrifying. At 3:42 a.m., the shadow of the man appeared in the mirror, stood for a few seconds, then vanished. Emma moved out a month later. Someone else moved in after her, a guy named Caleb. And he also noticed the mirror acting strange. He posted a tweet saying, "The mirror looks nice, but it's kinda weird. When I stand in front of it some nights, I feel like someone inside is staring at me and motioning for me to reach out my hand." A commenter jokingly asked, "What happens if you do reach your hand in?" Caleb replied, "I don't know, I haven't tried." His account was deleted shortly after, and no one knows what happened to him.